Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Teen Book Babble. I'm Miss Randy, and today I am going to be talking about the graphic novel The Magic Fish by Trung Ling Nguyen. This is a graphic novel. Like I said, it's kind of a realistic historical fiction with elements of fantasy woven in throughout the story, as there are fairy tale retellings. So let me tell you a little bit about the book. So, set in the 90s, this graphic novel is about a young boy, Tien, who is trying to find the words to come out to his parents. His parents are Vietnamese refugees who struggle with English. So he can't find the right words in English or Vietnamese to come out. And he fears losing his parents' love and acceptance. The answer may lie in the fairy tales that he and his parents read together each night to practice their English. The lessons learned from these stories and the help of his friends may give him the courage to speak his truth. So I picked up this book at the recommendation of two of my colleagues, and it did not disappoint. I enjoyed this book for many different reasons. Probably one of the main reasons are the beautiful illustrations by the author. In the back of the book, the author does talk about his inspiration, so I would recommend reading through that. But just the whole story, like the realistic parts, Tien's story, the fairy tales woven in between, the beautiful dresses and costumes of the fairy tales, the detail that went into the artwork is just beautiful. I do like that the color palette is sort of a little bit muted, but works very well. As you can see, like the author uses blues and reds and yellows in the story. Most of the retellings are in the blue parts, whereas Tien's story or his mother Helen's story is in the red parts. So the artwork is really just gorgeous. I am a big fan of fairy tale retellings, so it is really interesting to read. Of course, some of the tales that you're familiar with, like The Little Mermaid, but then to see some of the other stories, like Cinderella, sort of retold as a Vietnamese tale. So that was quite interesting as well. The other part, of course, is, this is not only Tien's story, this is his parents' story as well, specifically his mother, Helen. As a refugee, she came to the United States and has been working to become a citizen, but she left her home and her family and her mother behind. So really, Tien is trying to find his place and to find his words in his story. But his mother is also struggling with that as well. So I really enjoyed how both Tien's story and his mother's story and how those connect to the fairy tales. The other part is definitely like Tien's friends, Claire and Julian. Like Claire and Julian are friend goals totally. If I wish totally, maybe I can think of like a Claire in my life, but like I would totally want a Claire on my side all the time. Like the love and acceptance and support that both Claire and Julian give Tien as he tries to figure out how to come out to his parents and to the world at large is just beautiful. So I highly recommend The Magic Fish. If you would like to check it out, we do have it here at our library in print. So I would recommend that you stop by and pick it up today.
Hi everyone, my name is Andrea Marshall. I am a teen specialist here at Fountaindale Public Library, and today we're going to talk about the book A Wish in the Dark by Christina Soontornvat. So this is a really interesting book because it takes the story of Les Miserables and puts it into a Thai fantasy world. The story begins with a boy named Pong who is born and raised in a prison called Nam Wan Prison, When Pong escapes the prison, he runs away to the countryside and finds a refuge at a Buddhist temple. While he is gone, the warden of the prison and his family's reputation is ruined because of the escaped prisoner. To restore the reputation of her family, Knock, the daughter of the prison warden, is determined to track down the prisoner and put him back behind bars. Throughout the book, there is a cat and mouse chase, which creates really compelling writing. While this part of the story is going on, the city that they live in, Chitana, is under social upheaval due to the many years of inequality between poor and rich. While Pong discovers there will be a secret protest in Chitana, he has two choices: either joining the protest and making the world a better place, but risking the chance of getting caught, or fleeing to the countryside where he will have his freedom. To find out more about this book and Pong's decision, I recommend checking out A Wish in the Dark by Christina Soontornvat. So I'm going to talk about why I love this book so much. It is a 2021 Newbery Honor Medal, and I think it absolutely deserves that. So one of the reasons why I love this book so much is because of the way it depicts Thai culture as well as Thai food. A really fun fact about the author is that she grew up in Texas and her family owned a Thai restaurant. So because of that, she talks a lot about Thai food. For example, she talks about mangoes as well as durian, which is a fruit that grows in Southeast Asia. There's a really interesting part where the rebel group that plans the protest, they actually have their headquarters in the back of a Thai restaurant, which I thought was a really interesting and personal touch. I also really love this book because it's a great retelling of the classic story Les Miserables. Please excuse my French pronunciation. So specifically, the character Pong is Jean Valjean, whereas Knock is the Javert character. But on the other hand, if you are not familiar with the book or with the musical, it doesn't really matter because you're still able to understand the plot as well as the themes. So don't worry about that. I also really loved it because Les Miserables is a wonderful and classic story about inequality, social injustice, as well as grassroots movements. And I think this book is a great introduction to those types of issues to children. So if you are really interested in this author as well as Thailand, I recommend checking out All 13, The Incredible Cave Rescue of the Thai Boys Soccer Team, which is also by Christina Soontornvat. And that one also won the Newbery Medal honor as well. Basically, that is about the rescue of the Thai boys soccer team in Thailand. So that is all of the time that I have for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you really check out the book, A Wish in the Dark. You can find it in our YA section, and thank you so much for joining me. All right, bye-bye.
Hey y'all, I'm Haley, and today I'm going to be talking to you about one of my favorite shonen manga, Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 1 by Gege Akutami. This first volume follows Yuji Itadori, a mostly average high school student. Itadori is part of his school's occult club, even though he's got incredible physical strength and is wanted by basically every sports club at the school. But the occult club schedule gives him enough time to visit his sick grandfather in the hospital. One day, while Itadori is at the hospital, he is approached by Fushiguro Megumi, a student from Jujutsu High who's training to be a Jujutsu sorcerer, which is somebody who eliminates evil curses. Megumi is there to collect a sealed cursed item from Itadori that he found that's extremely dangerous. Except Itadori is no longer in possession of that item. It's with the rest of the occult club, and they're planning on taking the seal off that night. This cursed item is one of 20 fingers of the King of Curses, Ryomen Sukuna, and contains a fragment of his immense power. If Megumi and Itadori can't reach the club in time, people are going to die. In order to save his friends, Itadori will consume the cursed item and awaken Sukuna, becoming the curse's human vessel. Thanks to Itadori's ridiculous strength, though, he's able to prevent Sukuna from completely taking over his body. But because he's now the vessel for Sukuna, Itadori is now the only one who can destroy the curse forever. He has to do that by collecting and eating the rest of Sukuna's fingers, which sounds super gross, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do to save the world. Itadori, along with his new classmates and new teacher at Jujutsu High, must work hard to eliminate as many curses as they can to save the lives of as many people as they can. I love so much about this series. The action is intense, it's super fast-paced, and even though trying to save the world from demonic-looking evil curses sounds pretty serious, the characters are hilarious. Itadori is such a wonderful protagonist, and you just can't help but root for him. The rest of his trio, Megumi and Nobara, are just as amazing, and so are their other classmates who are in later volumes of the series. Also, their teacher, absolutely ridiculous. I love him. All of them have such unique and compelling reasons for wanting to become a Jujutsu sorcerer, and it's so interesting to get to learn everybody's backstories. Also, the art, fantastic. Jujutsu Kaisen is available in print at Fountaindale, so stop in to check it out.